Yeah,
Fruits and vegetables.
and we have no farmers in our family,
But I mean,
except as I said, yeah,
I think we were just gonna.
good.
How does the wheat crop look?
That's pretty healthy. How do you feel about it?
Pretty good. The wheat this year, it's a beautiful crop. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning to look at this time of year. We have had so much cold weather that it's actually behind for maturity. The heads should about be out. We're not there. How that impacts us and why the crop insurance can really play. Typically 4th of July, we're harvesting a patriotic crop of wheat, but every day that gets pushed back. Yes, and we usually run out of growing season. So we can't control that, but it's what tools do we have to still make the investment. In general, for myself, whatever I would raise for a soybean crop, I can typically produce about 60% as a double crop. But yeah, there's still always risk involved that I'm bearing by myself. A couple things that I wanted to be able to talk about here. What we had just walked through back there, and I actually thought maybe we'd be able to see them a little better here. So that is my grain bin setup where I store my grain. And the talking point there is what has made U.S. agriculture so efficient. Part of that is that farmers have built on-site infrastructure to speed harvest getting it out. And, that's something we take for granted. The United States has an incredible infrastructure system. Whether right here in Illinois, it can be rail. Things I'm raising this year are non-GMO soybeans that will be going to specific markets in the Pacific Rim, in the Asian markets. So they will leave the Chicagoland area on train to get out to the Pacific Northwest. And last year, we really did start to experience not being able to get containers and get that shipped on time.
That's why we changed the fundamental change, we did in the West Coast in terms of making sure we.
Yet another example, of trying to address that. There's still so many little bumps in there, but those little bumps do impact the big picture of efficiency.
I'm sure they do.
Excuse me.
Said sure they do.
Yeah. To me, the real example is to know that what is going on in the Ukraine and how that's just disrupting not only the major facilities that they have for exporting grain, but even at the farmer level. They're losing that basic structure not only to be able to put the crop in the ground, but what do they do with it afterwards? I cannot imagine.
Well, they're not able to put it in the ground now.
Yeah, they have a very low percentage, right?
Yeah.
So the infrastructure we take for granted here in the United States and Illinois being blessed with all the transportation, they don't have.
Yep.
And what it's going to take because we do need that system to get back up to production whenever it can. Yes,
President, if I can just chime in, because the infrastructure, it gives Jeff a competitive advantage in the export market because it's less expensive to get that crop to an export market than Brazil or South America that we're competing. At one point in time, it was 50 cents a bushel difference. So the infrastructure law that you shepherded through, and Congresswoman, thank you for your support on it, essentially will allow us to maintain that competitive advantage. And that's going to make it easier for him and for farmers like Jeff and to be able to continue to export.
Well, we found out that the infrastructure, for example, we don't have enough truck drivers anymore.
No, we don't.
We had to work out. One of the things I think surprised everybody, I was able to get together with the longshoremen on the West Coast as well as the owners of ports. And they came together and they increased by over 75% the rapid rapidity with which you get a ship with a cargo on it, on the port, off the port, into the stores, and it makes a gigantic difference. And that's what we're continuing to work on.
So once again, I can't really say enough. I appreciate all these little initiatives, which are very specifically designed to fix one of those little holes in the system. And it just takes time to bear that out.
They're pretty damn big holes if you keep that
I'm glad you feel that way.
No, they are. I mean, look, let's be honest with them.
Yeah, no,
they can bring it to a screeching halt.
Being honest in the way. So the last thing I would share of the points I did want to make was, first of all,